Today we're on page 83 in our notebook, so we're going to be talking about similar figures. So go ahead and pause your video so that you can set up your notebook. This is your warm-up. It says complete each analogy. So go ahead and complete these 4, and then I will come around to check them. Your learning goal says identify corresponding sides between similar figures, and your language goal says speak and write to define the word corresponding. And you're going to use the sentence stem corresponding means. This is your 2 vocabulary words, so I just should go ahead and write these into your notebook. So your first vocabulary word is similar figures. And similar figures says if 2 polygons are similar, then 1, their corresponding angles are congruent, and 2, their corresponding sides are proportional. You need to remember that, so go ahead and write that down. Your next vocabulary word says corresponding sides or angles, and that's a pair of sides or angles that are in the same spot in 2 different figures. So go ahead and write those 2 vocabulary words down. Example A says color code the corresponding sides. So all I have to do is take 3 colors because there's 3 sides, and I have to color code them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use red first, and you can use whichever color you'd like. I know that side A looks just like side DE on my smaller one. Then I do the same thing. I take another color, and I know that side BC is very similar to side EF. Those sides correspond to each other. The only difference is one is bigger and one is smaller. And I take my third color and I color code that last side here, which is side AC. And side AC is really similar to DF. It's in the same location on the triangle. It's just smaller on your smaller triangle. So what I also want to do is I want to list the corresponding sides and corresponding angles. So corresponding sides. My corresponding sides, my red corresponds with my red on my smaller one. So I know that side AB corresponds to side DE. I know that my blues, those correspond with each other, so I know that side BC corresponds with side EF. And then my last one is I know that the 2 greens correspond with each other, so side AC corresponds with side DF. Then let's list our corresponding angles. So let's start with angle A. Well, I know that angle A corresponds with angle D because that's where my green and red lines meet. So they both meet on the same side, so I know that angle A corresponds to angle D. So then I look at where my red and blue meet. Those look like right angles, and I know that angle B corresponds with angle E. And then my last one, which is angle C and angle F. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, but not too tricky. So on angle A, I already used 1 line. So on angle C, I can't use 1 line because those don't correspond with each other. So I'm going to use 2 lines this time. And so I know that angle C corresponds with angle F. And those are my corresponding sides and corresponding angles. Example B, color code the corresponding sides. So again, I'm going to take my colors and I'm going to color code side AB first. Well, side AB corresponds with side EF on my bigger. So then I have to do the same thing. Side AC corresponds with the side that's similar in the larger shape. So those correspond with each other. Side CD corresponds with side GH. And then my last one is side BD and side FH. So let's go ahead and list our corresponding sides. Our corresponding sides are those sides that are colored with the same color. So let's start with AB. So side AB corresponds with side EF. Side AC corresponds with side EG. Side CD corresponds with side GH. And my last one is side BD corresponds with side FH. Then let's list our corresponding angles. So let's start at angle A. Angle A corresponds with angle E because those two colors match each other. Angle B, I'm going to use 2, corresponds with angle F because the red and the purple match each other. Angle C corresponds with angle G because the green and blue touch each other. And then my last one, which is angle D, corresponds with angle H. Notice how I use some different signs in here. So what I first used was I used these little dashes. And when I use those little dashes, you can use those on any test because you may not have all the colors available to you. So each side has the same amount on the other larger shape so that I know that those sides correspond with each other. What I also used were these little notation marks for my angles. And so as long as it has the same design or shape or however you want to do it on the ones that correspond with each other, then it's fine. So what I want you to do is I want you to try on your practice page these first 3 problems, and then I'll come around to check them. Example C says color code the corresponding sides. So these ones already give you the angle marks. So what I have to use is I have to use these angle marks to determine which sides correspond with each other. So let's start with side DE. Well, side DE has one where there's 1 here and then there's 2 here. So let's see where I can find that. Well, if I flip it, this is just upside down. It's right here, angle A and C. Well, let's do the next one. I have E and F. And that looks like that's the top of this triangle because this triangle is flipped. And the only one I have left is side D and F. So let's go ahead and color code that. So what we need to do is we need to list our corresponding sides and our corresponding angles. So I'm just going to list sides just to make it go a little bit faster. Well, my red side matches my other red side, so side DE corresponds with side CA or AC. My side EF corresponds with my green side, which is BC. And my blues match each other, which is side DF. And that corresponds with side AB. Make sure that you're using the correct notation as well. So let's go ahead and list our angles. I know that angle D corresponds with angle A because this is where my blue and red match up, And so I know that those correspond with each other. Then I have angle E, and that corresponds with where my green and my red match up, which is right here. So at angle C. And then my last one, which is angle F, and that corresponds where the blue and the green match up, which is right here at angle B. Example D says color code the corresponding sides. So if you notice on this one, the shapes are flipped just like the last one, but we can still do it. So what I know is that this side looks just like the top side of this figure. So those correspond with each other. What I also know is that this side looks like the bottom of my smaller one, so those correspond. Then I notice this side EF goes with this side AB, because it's just flipped, it's just on its side. And then the last one is side GH, and that corresponds with the last side that's over here. So now I have to list my corresponding sides and my corresponding angles. So let's start with the red. So side EH corresponds with side AD. Side EF corresponds with side AB because those are both blue. Side FG corresponds with my green side on my smaller one, which is BC. And then the only one that I have left is the purple one, so I have side GH, and that corresponds with side CD. Let's list our corresponding angles. So let's start right here at H. So I want to see where the red and the purple meet up, which is right here. So I know that side H, or angle H rather, and angle D match up. So angle H and angle D. And then let's look at here where the red and the blue match up. So I know that angle E matches angle A. Then let's see where the blue and green match up, which is F and B. So angle F is equal to angle B. And then the last one, which is where the green and the purple match up, which is angle G and angle C. So what you're going to want to do is glue these notes in. You're going to need to fold them in half so that they'll fit in your notebook. And then I need you to get started on your practice page. Refer back to your notes if you have questions, but I will be coming around to check them.